Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel All in One. In this video, we are going to study the notes and question and answers of Class 8 English Lesson 6, that is the Model Millionaire Oscar Wilde. If you want the notes of other lesson or other subject, you can check my playlist of my channel. You can easily get from there. First one, answer the following questions in 2 or 3 sentences each. First question, what sort of man was Hughie Erskine? Answer, Hughie Erskine was a good-looking young man, admired by both men and women. He was a kind man and never said an unkind word about anyone. He was not very clever and never had any money. Question 2. What were the various jobs he took up? Why? Answer. Hughie worked on the stock exchange, later as a tea merchant, then he tried selling sherry. All this lasted for 6 months or a little more. He was not clever in earning money. He failed in all his efforts. Question 3. What was the condition laid down for Hughie to marry Laura? Answer. Laura's father, Mr. Colonial, laid down a condition that he wanted Hughie to earn 10,000 pounds. Question 4. Who was Alan Trevor? What was Trevor doing when Hughie called on him? Answer. Alan Trevor was a friend of Hughie. He was a painter and clever artist. Trevor was almost finishing the full-size picture of a beggar man when Hughie called on him. Question 5. How was the model beggar dressed? Answer. The model beggar was an old man, bent, and his face was wrinkled. He wore a brown coat that was all torn and dirty. His boots were patched and well worn. Sixth question. What did Hughie feel the model should get? Why? Answer. Hughie felt that the model should get some part of Trevor's earning that he gets for the picture, because the beggar stood so still that it was very hard to stay in the same position. The beggar had also been working as hard as Alan. Question 7. Why did Hughie feel sorry for the beggar man? Answer. Hughie felt sorry for the beggar because he looked lonely and sad. He was an old man, bent, and had a piteous look on his face. Question 8. What did Hughie give the old beggar man? Answer. Hughie, out of pity for old beggar, gave a sovereign into the beggar's hand. Question 9. What did Alan Trevor tell Hughie when he met him at the Palette Club? Answer. Alan told Hughie that the beggar model was Baron Hausberg, one of the richest men in Europe. The Baron had a house in every capital city and ate food in gold plates. He had so much money that he could buy all of London. Question 10. Alan says he will invest your sovereign for you, Hughie. How do you think the Baron could have invested the sovereign for Hughie? Answer. The beggar man was none other than Baron Hausberg, one of the richest men in Europe. He might have a number of business firms of his own. He could invest Hughie's money in one of his companies and earn profit. Second main question, answer the following questions in 5 or 6 sentences each. First question, that old beggar, as you call him, in one of the richest men in Europe. Name the richest man referred to. How is he described to Hughie? Answer, the richest man is Baron Hausberg, one of the richest men in Europe. He could buy all London if he wished. He had a house in every capital city. He dined in golden plates. He could also prevent Russia going to war whenever he wanted. Baron was Trevor's great friend. He bought all his pictures. He had asked Trevor to paint him as a beggar and would pay him £2,000 for his work. Question 2. Described how Hughie Erskine was able to marry Laura Merton. Answer. Once when Hughie went to meet his friend Trevor, he found that he was painting the full size of a beggar man. In the corner stood the beggar man, who was old, bent, and had a piteous face. Out of sympathy for him, Hughie slipped a sovereign into his hands when Trevor went out and later went away. The beggar man was moved by his kind gesture and inquired about Hughie. Trevor told him everything. The beggar man was Mr. Baron Hughesberg, one of the richest men in Europe. He had sent word through a messenger a letter that read a wedding present to Hughie and Laura from an old beggar, and inside was a check for £10,000. Thereby, Hughie was able to marry Laura. Question 3. Bring out the subtle humor in the story. The Model Millionaire. Answer. The story brings out how a gesture of kindness repays one in multiples. Hughie was compassionate and did not worry much about his earnings. When he sees the beggar man posing for the full size picture that his friend Trevor was painting, he was moved by the beggar man's attire and piteous face and slips a sovereign into his hands, who was none other than Baron Hughesberg, one of the richest men in Europe. This ignorance of Hughie creates humor also when the messenger of Baron comes to his place to give him the envelope in a fit of anxiety. Hughie tries to seek apology for slipping a sovereign to one of the richest men. All this creates subtle humor in the story. Question 4. I have got heaps of old clothes at home. Do you think he would like any of them? Why, his rates were falling to bits, said Hughie. But he looks so wonderful in them, said Trevor. I would not paint him in a good suit for anything. However, I will tell him of your offer. The above instance is an example for subtle humor. Pick out other incidents of humor from the story. Answer. First point, he had been a tea merchant but soon got tired of selling tea. Second point, Laura loved him very much and together they made a handsome couple. Of course, neither of them had any money. Third point, the old man jumped and a faint smile crossed his lips. Fourth point, good heavens, I give him a sovereign. Fifth point, he will invest your sovereign for you and pay you interest. Third main question, vocabulary. First one, fill in the blanks given below with the help of the compound words. First question, dash picture, full size. Second point, dash young man, good looking. Third point, the old dash, beggar man. Fourth one, the dash wanted to speak to Trevor. Answer, frame maker. Next, second one, match the words in column A with the words in column B to make more compound words. First question, grand. Answer is mother. Second one, news, paper. Third one, mine, stone. Fourth one, bookmark. Fifth one, tie, breaker. Sixth one, footpath. So this is all about your lesson number 6, that is the Model Millionaire. As I told you, if you want more lesson, check the playlist of my channel. Thank you.